All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are live NASCAR Cup Series Mobil 1 301 action today at New Hampshire Motor Speedway for the round of 12 NASCAR Cup Series playoff opener. And we have 12 drivers chasing a championship over the next 7 races, the next 7 weekends, beginning here at the Magic Mile for this round. Second race of the round next week at Kansas, and we'll have the full coverage for each race in the round as the finale will be at the Charlotte Roval. Thank you so much for watching for today's live commentary stream. We are going to get things started with NASCAR trivia as we usually do every weekend for NASCAR Cup Series race or pre-race, I should say, on these live commentary streams. I greatly appreciate you tuning in as always. A little bit of a late start here. I was trying to find this quiz on NASCARSporkle.com, and for some reason I was having a very tough time trying to find it. So now I got to get the chat up on my phone, and once I do, we will begin this quiz, and then we'll get into the NASCAR Cup Series race itself when that begins. Bam Hall, welcome into the stream. Many others, thanks for tuning in, of course, as well. I'll wait for a few extra people to join the chat before we get this quiz started. Gives me a chance to also finish putting my fantasy lineup in because I want to make sure I got the right guys ready to go for that when it locks. And I should probably get the pre-race up on my TV. I had the Packers game going on there for a second, but we don't want to miss the start of the race, of course, because that's what we're here for this afternoon. Alrighty. Try to get a couple different drivers in here. Kind of freelancing this a little bit. All right. Get the chat pulled back up on my phone. Frank Powers, Dark Crypto, Emo Gene Blevins, Bam Hall. Roz, thanks for tuning in. I miss anybody else? I don't think so. You guys are the early people in the chat. I don't want to waste a little bit more time here, or I don't want to waste any more time. We got 20 minutes on the quiz for this weekend, and I know we've done this quiz once already this year, and this is all-time NASCAR Cup Series winners. This might have been one of the first ones we did back at Daytona in February, so some time has passed by. You guys can play along in the chat, and then we'll get into the race itself. Countdown to the command, still about 13 minutes away, so we're going to be cutting it kind of close on time here. But we're starting. All-time NASCAR Cup Series winners. This is anybody who has ever won a race at the NASCAR Cup Series race. There's 206 drivers, 20 minutes to try to name as many as we can. Starting off with the king, Richard Petty. That's going to give us Lee Petty, Kyle Petty as well. Number 2 on that list is David Pearson. Jeff Gordon is number 3, and that'll give us Robbie Gordon, who's got a few wins as well. In the 80s always trip me up for some reason on the particular order. Cale Yarborough, I know, is the next one at 80. Oh, okay, so he's got 83. Never mind. Waltrip is up there. I know Jimmy Johnson is one of those guys. If I could spell. Bobby Johns. Hang on. There we go. Jimmy Johnson, Junior Johnson. Joe Lee Johnson. I've never heard of that man in my life. 85. We have Bobby Allison. Sorry. There we go. Okay, there's all the 80s. 86, Dale Earnhardt. So we'll get junior and senior with that one. Gator Romeo, welcome to the stream. As well. Many others. Bobby Hamilton. I'm trying to go in order first here. 63, that's Kyle Busch. We'll get Kurt Busch with that. 60 is Kevin Harvick. Denny Hamlin is updated. So this quiz is up to date because he is actually at 59 right now. Rusty Wallace, I believe, is 55. 50. Tony Stewart has 49. Who else is at 50 with Junior Johnson? It's somebody well retired. I know it off the top of my head, but Mark Martin's in the mid to upper 40s. Oh, he's at 40 exactly, actually. What about Kenseth? He's in the 40s. 39. Okay, he was close. Jarrett. Ned Jarrett's got 50. There we go. And we'll get Dale Jarrett with that. I just put one for some reason at 5. Who else is in the 30s? Truex is in the 30s. Joey Logano is in the 30s. Brad Keselowski is in the 30s. Who else is up there? Fireball Roberts, 33. Joe Weatherly, how many did he have? I mean, he's obviously on the list. Let me scroll down. He's got 25. Dale Jr.'s got above 20. Oh, we already got him. That's right. Gotta fly through this. We would have got Michael Waltrip with the Darrell Waltrip pick as well. Biffle, he's got around 20. I'm trying to get everybody above around 30 or more, ideally. Marvin Panch has a lot. 17. I thought he had more. I honestly thought he had more. What about Bobby Isaac? How many does he have? He's got 37. Okay. Who else have I not named that's won just a ton of races? Tim Richmond. I don't know how many he has. 10. Okay. He's got less than I thought he did. I know who else has 10. Sterling Marlin. Don't ask me how I know that. Kyle Larson's got a lot. How many does he have? 32. Wow. Bill Elliott. And that'll give us Chase Elliott also. 44 for Bill. Chase has 20. See the Larson. Trust me, I see some of your guys' answers in the chat, like Joe Nemechek, Larson, Allison. I'm trying to go in as much of order as I can until I start to really get stumped, and then we'll just throw out some names. We got 42 of 206 in the first 4 minutes, so we're pacing well. We're not going to get all of these. There's going to be some names on here I've never heard of. Let me get back into the 50s, the late 40s. Carl Edwards has a lot. He's above 20, 28. The Burtons are really, well, Jeff. Harrison's got 1. Ward's got 5. Jeff is close to 20. 21 for Jeff Burton. Both the Labonte brothers are around 20. Casey Kane's got close to 20. I guess I'll put Biffle then. He's got 19. 19 for Casey Kane also. All right, who else? Do I have Truex? Who else? Smokey Eunuch. How many does... Never mind. Forget I put that in there. There's still some guys from like the 50s and 60s that have won a lot of races. Red Byron. That'll give us William Byron. That gives us 15. Rexford. Benny Parsons. He's got a lot. He's got to be on the very left side of the... Yep, Jeff Bodine. He's got a lot. Bodine, 18. It's going to give us Brett as well. Baker. Buck, 46. Buddy, 19. Herb Thomas has a lot. Yes, he's above 40, I believe. 48. Thank you, chat. Joe Weatherly. I put him already. Yeah, he's got 25. Johnny Sauter has a 1. Derek Cope is on here twice. Yes. Harry Gant. How many does he have? 18. Okay. Jarrett Edwards. Yeah, Foyt's on here. There's a lot of names you guys are putting that are on here. I'm really trying to get everybody who is above 20 first. If possible. 39. 39 Cup wins. Really trying to think back. I do have Gann already. 39 Cup wins. Off the top of my head, I don't know how many Pete Hamilton has. He's on here, but... Oh, Bobby and Pete Hamilton both have 4. What are the odds? I'll just start throwing some randos out there so I'm not wasting too much more time. Jamie McMurray. Elliott Sadler. Oh, Ricky Rudd's got a lot. Pablo Montoya. Marcos Ambrose. Ambrose. Menard. Rudiman. McDowell. Haley. Chastain. Suarez. Cindric. Barry. Reddick. We would have gotten Bubba Wallace with Rusty and all them. Hamlin. Oh, I already have him. Christopher Bell. He's got 13 already. Vickers. Casey Mears. Jimmy Spencer. Steve Park. I'm going 2 all over the place. Lenny Pond. Wally Dallenbach ever win a race? I can't remember. Why do I feel like he's won at Talladega before? I don't know. That was probably a bad answer. I did not put Rex White yet. Yeah, he's got 28. We got Jack White with that. I don't know who that is. There's a guy with my last name, Schneider. Newman. I didn't put Ryan Newman yet. The Rocket Man. Almirola, yes. Yes, chat. Trevor Bain. David Reagan. Johnny Benson. Jerry Nadeau. If I could spell. There we go. Ricky Craven. John Andretti. And that's going to give us Mario Andretti, AJ Foyt. Oh, thank Keegan. I had another open wheeler in my head that I just had it slip out of me. Oh, that's frustrating. I was also thinking with the 60s and Indy 500 winners. Parnelli Jones. Oh, there we go. We're going to get Eric Jones with that as well. There's some other ones on there too. Neil Bonnet, I did not put yet. He's also got 18. It's quite a few. Red Farmer? No. No. Yeah, he's not on here. Yeah, Ernie Irvin. Hillen? I don't. Yeah, Bobby Hillen Jr. has one. There's a lot of active drivers I have not put on here yet. Allmendinger. Can I just put SVG? No, I gotta spell it out. Van Gisbergen. There we go. He didn't win. I do have Bell. I do have Brad. I don't have Boyer yet. Clint Boyer. Cole Custer. Unser never won. Yeah. No, he didn't win. Austin Dillon, yes. It's a this year winner, too. Trivia, anybody who's ever won a Cup Series race. I put Smokey Unick. Did I spell it wrong? I did put him already. Thing. Alan Kulwicki, former champion. See, that's what I get for skipping around with different decades. Kenny Schrader, yes. Jared Edwards Larson. Looking back at the chat, just see if I missed anybody that you guys put. Nemechek. Hornish did not win a cup race. Who's the dude that won that first talent? Richard Brickhouse. All right. There's some other one-off Dega winners. Stenhouse, not a one-off, but I didn't put him yet. Chris Buescher. 6 wins already for Buescher. Bowman, yep. think I got everybody at Hendrick Motorsports now. Finishing this quiz up, we've got about 7.5 minutes, and then we'll get our live commentary stream as usual ready to go for the race. Bud Moore, thank you for that. Lake Speed, I did not put him yet. He's got one win. That's another Talladega one, if I'm not mistaken. I do have Justin Haley. There's got to be some active drivers I'm missing. Look up at my wall of diecast and see if I have anybody missing there also. You can consider that cheating, I'm well aware. But just in case I missed anybody, I don't think I did from there. Is there a Miller? Nope. I do have Tim Richmond. I'm pretty sure I have anybody who's ever won at Hendrick Motorsports. At least I'd like to think I do. There's somebody with 39 wins I'm missing. Still. Who have I not named yet? 26, 21, 20. There's 4 guys with 20 plus wins that I'm missing. 5, actually. Chase Briscoe. That's another active. See, that's why the chat's coming in handy. I skip around like that. I should have started with active drivers first. Kurt Busch is just giving the command to fire engines right now. We might have to tap out of this quiz early today. JJ Yeley did not win a race. He didn't win either. Yeah, we're going to have to tap out of this. They're getting things going early today. Usually it's like 10 to 20 minutes after whatever they have the scheduled start time at for the TV window at 2 p.m. Eastern for today. And they're getting things rolling very, very quickly. The only time they usually do this is if there's inclement weather coming, which I don't think is the case today, so they're definitely rushing at the racetrack. I think we're going to pick this back up again next weekend. I don't want to just end the quiz and give up because I know we have more in ourselves with 5.5 minutes to go. We're at 119. I really apologize today compared to usual. We'll try not to waste much time next week when it comes to waiting for a few extra of you guys to tune in. So we're going to do this same quiz again next weekend. The suspense is there. I know it feels like we basically did that for nothing, but that's okay. That's okay. We'll take a look at the point standings here first as they just fired engines. Again, this is the first race of the round of 12 of the NASCAR Cup Series playoffs, and the 3-race round consists of the Magic Mile today at New Hampshire, next Sunday at Kansas Speedway in Kansas City, Kansas, and then the following weekend back at Charlotte, NASCAR's home at the Roval, final road course race of the year, and that is the elimination race of the round of 12 of the playoffs. Denny Hamlin plus 26 points is the new number 1 seed based off of the playoff points scored from the first round as well as what he had scored through the regular season. William Byron, who was the regular season champion at plus 24 for the number 24. Same for his teammate Kyle Larson. Plus 20 for Christopher Bell. 5 seed Ryan Blaney plus 19. Chase Briscoe plus 10. Chase Elliott plus 5. And Bubba Wallace, last driver above the cut line, plus 1. Austin Cindric minus 1. Defending series champion Joey Logano minus 2. Minus 2 points also for Ross Chastain and minus 3 for Tyler Reddick. Only 29 points separate first through 12th in the standings. It is very tight this year. We haven't had a clear runaway favorite for the championship really all season. And that's going to make this round and the rounds to come very, very tight. Mistakes are going to have to be very limited, if any at all, if you're going to want to advance not only out of this round, but also into the championship 4 in the following round. So we'll go through the starting lineup for today's race now. Joey Logano, a hometown favorite for today, will be starting on the pole in this race. He got his first career win in a rain-shortened race at New Hampshire way back in 2009 in his rookie season. His teammate Ryan Blaney, who was number 1 at New Hampshire, will be on the outside of row 1. Blaney was quickest long run in practice yesterday. Should be one of the favorites for the win today. Josh Berry for the Wood Brothers on the inside of row number 2 after finishing last in the last 3 races, getting booted from the first round of the playoffs. Looking just for a solid finish today to get back on track for what he has accomplished for a good portion of the season. Tyler Reddick outside of row number 2 for this one. Highest qualifying Toyota In row number 3, 2 Chevrolets, William Byron, playoff driver, non-playoff driver Carson Hocevar, Alex Bowman, Ross Chastain make up row 4. And rounding out the top 10, Denny Hamlin, a 4-time New Hampshire winner, and Shane Van Gisbergen with a top 10 qualifying effort. In row number 6 will be Michael McDowell and AJ Allmendinger, Ty Gibbs, Bubba Wallace in row 7, Chris Buescher, Kyle Larson in row 8. Row number 9 will be Brad Keselowski and Chase Briscoe, Christopher Bell with Zane Smith in row 10. Justin Haley, Austin Cindric, row number 11. Row 12 for Ryan Preece and former New Hampshire winner Kyle Busch. Riley Herbst, Eric Jones in row number 13. Row 14 for Chase Elliott and Austin Dillon starting deeper in the field. Behind them in row 15, John Hunter Nemechek and Ty Dillon. Cole Custer, Daniel Suarez, row 16. Row 17 for Noah Gragson, Ricky Stenhouse Jr. Cody Ware, Todd Gilliland will round out the field in row 18. 36 cars on the entry list for this weekend, all of which starting today's race. 301 miles, 301 laps are scheduled distance at the Magic Mile at New Hampshire Motor Speedway. 70 laps consist of stage 1. Stage 2 will take us to lap 185 for a distance of 115 laps, and 116 in stage 3 to the end from lap 185 to 301. For more pre-race breaking updates, we'll tune it into the USA Network now. That is where you can watch for visual purposes today's race. Obviously, full flag to fly coverage right here on the channel as well. Quick shout outs to those of you watching that I didn't shout out in the pre-race so far. Connie Ream, thanks for tuning in. TRG Tornado, and then Steve, many others that played along. Dean Tate, obviously with the Robert Goodrich with the trivia that we did beforehand. Sure to hit the like button, subscribe for more NASCAR content as our coverage begins today.
That's a nice
There you go. Got Ricky Craven driving the pace car, Kurt Busch giving the command. John Barber, welcome into the stream also, and many others. Team Penske, a lock out of the front row and should be one of the favorites to win the race today. Joey Logano, the Connecticut hero, will lead the field to the green at his home track. Green flag is in the air. We're underway in the Mobil 1 301 at Loudon. Denny Hamlin charging to the apron of the racetrack, 3 wide to the bottom of the racetrack, and up on the high side, Carson Hocevar going for broke on the opening lap as well. Ryan Blaney did not fire off all on the outside of row number 1, and Joey Logano has the lead down the back straightaway into turn 3, with Josh Berry up to second, and Blaney still on the outside, but side-by-side battling going on right now with William Byron in the 24. A lot of positions being lost by Blaney as he's really trying to settle in here. Byron going to blow past him. Maybe already some tire management by the driver of the number 12, starting slow so he can end up picking them off as the run goes longer. It's a little bit of a risk versus reward kind of a situation. But we'll see how it works out for him. Logano leading the opening 2 laps of the race from the pole spot. Josh Berry in second. Carson Hocevar making a pass now, and William Byron for third on the outside. Hasn't cleared him yet. Byron on the inside for 4th, and then 5th is Tyler Reddick. Blaney falls back to 6th after starting in the 2nd spot. Shane Van Gisbergen is in 7th. 8th for Ross Chastain, Alex Bowman 9th, and Michael McDowell rounds out our top 10. Booger D, due to process of copyright. Yes. That was a good comment. To be a comment relating to the allergies that I have right now. If you see me step away from the camera throughout today's race, my allergies have been kicking my tail for the 2nd consecutive day now. It wasn't that bad yesterday during the stream. I only had to get up a couple of times, but with this cup race being longer than both the length of the truck race and obviously practice and qualifying, which is only a 2-hour block, yesterday you're probably going to see me get up a few times more here today. But I'll do the best I can and tough it out. I'm scared for Ryan Blaney losing too many positions right off the rip here because I have a feeling that it's going to be, again, hard to pass, even with tire wear that we'll be seeing today. And it seemed like most of the tire wear was in the first 15 laps. And then that 15 to 30 lap stretch, there wasn't much of a difference in lap time after that. So losing too many positions right now, not going to be good for the driver at the number 12. Most positions gained for the start of the race. We got 3 drivers up 4 spots. SVG, Ryan Preece, and Daniel Suarez. SVG, the only one in the top 10 as he now goes for 6th. SVG, one of the drivers eliminated from the round of 16 last weekend at Bristol. Josh Berry, Alex Bowman, and Austin Dillon were the other 3. Blaney slides clear up off of turn 4 in that battle for 6th with SVG as he can't hang on the outside anymore. Ryan Blaney's been running the bottom of the racetrack most of the way around. Tyler Reddick well above the blacker asphalt on the inside of turns 1 and 2. Up into the gray area. It's as wide as I've seen anybody go so far, but maybe trying to get a little extra clean air on the nose. It's working for him. He's keeping up with the guys ahead of him. Constantly blowing your nose. Yeah. Yeah, mine's a little on the runnier side. My eyes were pretty itchy yesterday. Today, they're not very itchy. It's mainly just the nose problems. Toughing it out for you guys. And welcome back, by the way. It's our first live commentary stream for a Cup race in a couple weeks, since I was at Bristol for the Cup race last weekend, as well as the Xfinity race on Friday night. Xfinity will have to wait on the live commentary side until next week because they were off this week at New Hampshire. They're going to show the points on the bottom left-hand corner of the screen quite a bit throughout the course of the final 7 races, but we're not really going to go too in-depth with that for the first couple races of the round. Once we get to the end of stage 2 and they're popping the graphic up there once in a while, I'll maybe read it off, or if somebody drops out of the race of those 12 playoff drivers, I'll let you know their point situation and whatnot, but it's kind of useless information at this point because we're so early in the race. We don't even know who's going to get stage points for these first 70 laps, and we'll have another stage after that where top 10 gets points as well. Kyle Larson on screen battling with Denny Hamlin. Hamlin also maybe in that little bit of a tire conservation mode as he had qualified just inside the top 10, dropped back a few spots from the start, down 4 positions, in fact, from 9th to 13th. Larson, who was looking underneath him for that spot, trying to get his first win at New Hampshire Motor Speedway. Not one of his better racetracks, and really for Hendrick Motorsports as a whole, not a great track for him. Hendrick has not won since 2012 with Casey Kane at New Hampshire Motor Speedway. 13 years, and a lot of those years they had 2 races a season here. So it's been an extremely long time for HMS to try to have a good run. William Byron was very fast at practice. In fact, he was fastest overall yesterday afternoon, qualified well. He's currently in 4th. Alex Bowman, good qualifying effort, top 10. But for Larson and Elliott, starting deeper in the field, including Chase Elliott, who was way back in the 27th starting position. Larson on the inside, very close to completing the pass on Denny Hamlin, and he's going to be able to do so for 13th. Ryan Blaney, after fending off SVG, going to catch back up and make a pass on Tyler Reddick as he's starting to show a little bit of long-run speed in that number 12. Blaney was 0.2 of a second faster than everybody in the 15-lap average and better on the long run in practice yesterday. It was insanely quick, and that's why I took him for the race win today, because New Hampshire is a track that is going to yield a lot of long green flag runs in the NASCAR Cup Series, and especially with this next-gen car. If we see cautions, most of which are going to be taking place on restarts, so we may see situations of back-to-back yellows, but I'm expecting multiple long green flag runs, and maybe even this first stage to go caution-free of 70 laps. They will not have to pit for fuel or tire purposes in this opening stage. So if it were to go green, there will be no pit stops until the end of the first stage under that caution. Fastest lap of the race in the early going, Josh Berry on lap 5 posted his quickest lap, 30.054. It was faster than anybody else. Joey Logano's fastest lap, actually about a 10th off of that. Matching lap times with the 21, and he might be holding up Berry a little bit. I don't think Logano's as quick as that 21 car for the moment. Berry was top 10 in practice yesterday. He was actually fastest of the Group 1 drivers in the 18 in that group on the long run speed, kind of similar to Ryan Blaney. Didn't fall back as much as Blaney did on the opening start, though, so things are going well for Josh as he contests for the lead with the defending champion of the series. Haven't been talking about it a whole lot, but the fact with Joey Logano being a 3-time champ has a chance to tie Jeff Gordon for 4 championships all time. If he can get it done again this season at a track in the finale that Penske has been able to win a few years in a row. Regine Huddleston, Tim Brown, welcome to the stream. Irina Sayre, thanks for tuning in. Yeah, Blaney's been just so good on the long green flag runs. I don't remember Blaney from start of season to end of season having a year like this year in 2025 where consistently on tracks with decent amount of tire fall off or very high tire fall off that he has just been that much faster than the rest of the field. I mean, he has the best long run car or one of the best long run cars every single time we go to a track like this. And the fact that it's a short flat oval and Penske's had the success that they had, especially in the fall months in recent years with this next gen, it's going to be very tough to beat them today. They weren't as strong at Gateway about a month ago compared to what, or 2 weeks ago, really, compared to what I thought they were going to be. But they're obviously showing pace here today in Loudon. Pass for fourth was just made during the side-by-side commercial break, by the way. Ryan Blaney did get by Byron cleanly for fourth in turns 3 and 4. So the top 5 run right now with Logano out in front, Josh Berry second, Carson Hocevar third, Ryan Blaney fourth, and William Byron slides back into the 5th spot. 53 laps still to go in stage 1. We're only about 18 laps complete in the race. Berry still within about a car length and a half to 2 car lengths off the race lead of Logano, pushing tight up off turn 4. Will lose a little bit of that ground down the front straightaway. Christopher Bell, the defending winner of this race, back at 17th, still 10.5 seconds off the lead. We haven't seen the speed out of JGR this weekend that they've showed in the next-gen era at this racetrack. They've actually won the last 3 races at New Hampshire, and they've been the hottest team in NASCAR in 2025 from the back half of the summer on. The last 13 races, they've had one of their 4 teams finish in the top 2 positions, including winning 3 straight races, all of which in the round of 16, with Chase Briscoe winning the Southern 500, 2 weeks ago with Denny Hamlin winning at Gateway, and last week, of course, Bristol night race win for Christopher Bell. It's 2 laps in a row that Josh Berry is starting to lose just a little bit of time to Joey Logano. Maybe heated his tires up a little too much, trying to keep pace with the 22 car. Ryan Blaney closing in on the 77 of Carson Hocevar for third. He's within a couple tenths of him as well. And if he makes that pass, we'll be right back to the top 3 in the running order, being the top 3 from the start of the race. Not the same order in which they qualified, but back to where they started. Blaney will make the pass in 1 and 2 with ease, and Byron's actually closing in on Hocevar for 4th as well, sliding in wide. First chance Blaney had to make that pass on Hocevar, he got it done cleanly. No contest was really for that 77. Chase Elliott only up 2 spots from the start to 25th. Kyle Busch struggling early back in 35th place as he's lost a ton of positions from the start. Started 24th, he's back to 35th. 11 spots lost for Busch, and I believe that is the most positions lost of any driver from the start of today's race. Chris Buescher's back minus 6 spots from 15th to 21st. Couple up a half a dozen that started deep in the field like Gregson and Gilliland. But that's about it. SVG still holding on strong at 6 for now. Got those 4 spots on the initial start. Trying to settle in. He actually just made a pass on Tyler Reddick after getting passed by Blaney recently, so Reddick is starting to really fade on these long runs. And the differentiating lap time is going to continue to grow more spacious amongst one another the longer this run goes and the tires start to fall off. There hasn't been a lot of left side tire fall off from practice yesterday, but it's the right side tire fall off, both of the right front and the right rear, that we have to look out for today when it comes to long run pace. Berry now 0.7 of a second off of the race lead. Ryan Blaney 2.9 seconds back in third, 4 seconds to Byron in fourth, and Hocevar 4.6 back in fifth. About to be 25 laps complete in this race. Kevin Stallman, welcome to the stream. Busch just can't catch a break all season, let alone this weekend in New England. Got just over 100 people in the chat already. Greatly appreciate everybody tuning in today. Off to a hot start in today's NASCAR Cup race in New Hampshire. Joey Logano leading all 25 laps from the pole, so haven't missed a lead change yet. Just over 13 minutes from the drop of the green flag to where we're at right now. We've got Larson, Chastain on screen battling for 10th, so Larson continues to kind of slowly press forward. Same for Christopher Bell, not as rapidly as what Larson's been able to move. Bell's looking to get by fellow Toyota driver Bubba Wallace. peeking to his inside in turns 3 and 4. Bell is currently battling for 15th. Again, he is the defending winner of this race. He's actually finished in the top 2 positions in the last 3 races here at New Hampshire. And he's won, I believe, 3 or 4 Xfinity races at New Hampshire as well. This is his racetrack, essentially. Glad to know after missing the live commentary being at Bristol last week, you guys haven't forgot about me. So thank you for tuning in, as always. Larson to the inside of Chastain for that 10th spot. Larson had a pretty solid car at Gateway a couple weeks ago. A little bit of leadage on Chastain up off of turn 2. They make slight contact. The car got a little bit loose. He's got nothing for Larson right now, though. Larson clear, up 6 spots for Kyle Larson. Most positions gained from the start of the race. Chastain's got a great run out of turn 4 to try to get back to Larson. He gave him a quick push down the front straightaway, but that was it. Kind of helping both drivers out more than anything. Keep their speed up. He just didn't want to have to lift and break momentum. Josh Berry, after falling 7/10 of a second off the lead, he's back within a half a second of Logano. Blaney, after getting to 3rd place, is still losing time to the 22 car. He's now 3 seconds back, as Joey Logano continues to hold on strong at the front of the pack. And he is going to be getting into lap traffic here shortly. Cody Ware, who's last in 36th right now, is only about 2 to 3 seconds off of the front of the leaders. And only another 1.5 seconds in front of him is Busch and everybody else at the back of the pack. So might bunch the front runners up if Logano struggles in traffic. We haven't seen him have to pass any cars, obviously, yet today. He's had the cleanest air of any driver, so him being able to hold on to that long run speed, so far so good, but in the back half of stage 1, it's going to become a lot more impressive, I would say, if he can hold on to the lead. And it's interesting also to see if guys like Blaney and Byron, who are a few seconds back, can really start to close that gap quite a bit over the next 40 laps or so. Appreciate you saying my name right. Yeah. I try, enunciation's a big key when doing live commentary streams like this every weekend, so try not to butcher your guys' name in the chat. No cautions to record in the first 32 laps either. Clean race so far. 14 cautions at Bristol a week ago, the most we've seen in a NASCAR Cup race so far this season. We had a lot of tire fall off in that race as well. We're not going to see anywhere near the fall off today at New Hampshire, but we will see some, and we've already seen some. Joey Logano will put Cody Ware lap down off turn 2, so lap traffic has begun, and already Josh Berry's closed in within about 0.3 of a second. Now 0.2 into 3 and 4 as he charges past Ware. Logano kind of caught that 51 car in a bad spot up off the exit of turn 2. He couldn't get back to the gas soon and ride out to the wall because the 51 car was there. Berry made sure to pass him first chance he had into 3 and 4. Clear through the center of the corner, and now he'll try to keep pace with the 22. Berry finished last place 3 races in a row, so just a great effort to qualify up in 3rd. And just finishing this race would be much improved from the last few races for him, but obviously as strong as he looks today, things could be great for him. He had a top 5 at Phoenix earlier this season on a flat 1-mile oval, so it's probably not surprising Berry's having another good run here this afternoon, at least early on. Going to commercial on USA Network again. We'll go through the full field running order here as we are just getting into lap traffic and we're halfway through stage 1. Joey Logano leads, Josh Berry in 2nd, Ryan Blaney 3rd, William Byron 4th, 5th place for Carson Hocevar, Shane Van Gisbergen is 6th, Tyler Reddick 7th, Alex Bowman 8th, Michael McDowell 9th, and Kyle Larson rounds out the top 10. 11th is Ross Chastain, AJ Allmendinger in 12th, Denny Hamlin 13th, Ty Gibbs 14th, 15th for Christopher Bell, Chase Briscoe in 16th, got 4 Toyotas smack dab right in the middle of the pack there. Brad Keselowski in 17th and another Toyota. Bubba Wallace in 18th. Ryan Preece 19th. Austin Cindric is surprisingly back in 20th and now actually makes the pass for 19th. On Preece, 21st is Chris Buescher. Zane Smith 22nd. 23rd is Justin Haley. Chase Elliott only up to 24th. Riley Herbst 25th. Daniel Suarez, 26. Austin Dillon, 27. Noah Gregson, 28. Todd Gilliland, 29th. And Ty Dillon, 30th. 31st for Ricky Stenhouse Jr., Eric Jones, 32nd. Cole Custer, 33rd. Jonathan Nemechek, 34th, is the last car in the lead lap. Kyle Busch, lap down in 35th. Lap down as well for Cody Ware, last in 36th. All 36 cars that started the race, obviously still on the racetrack in the early going with those no incidences. Almost 20 minutes in. You're listening live on KRC. We'll take our first break here of full flag-to-flag coverage of the Mobil 1 301 at New Hampshire. Again, our chat poll will end at the end of stage 2. We have 68 votes for who you think is going to win today's race. Other at 44%, still leading the way. The Penske duo, though, of Blaney and Logano are getting more votes since we checked in the pre-race. Blaney at 26%, Logano 22% for the number 22. I like that. Christopher Bell, 7% of the votes. Last of those few, as he's still stuck outside the top 10. We'll highlight the Fantasy League here. If you are not in the Fantasy League, I would highly recommend you do so. You got a chance to win 2 tickets to any NASCAR race if you're choosing the following season. If you win our regular season and or playoff championship, it'll be Fantasy Live League on the left-hand side of the screen. Now, obviously, we're well into the playoffs and we finish up the regular season, so you're not really going to have a chance to win. But if you join the league now, you're going to be in the league for when we begin things back up in the Daytona 500 in February. Again, you get 2 tickets to any NASCAR race if you're choosing the following season if you win either the regular season or playoff championship. We do have 2 separate winners. My fantasy team for this week, I've got Joey Logano, Denny Hamlin, Christopher Bell, Chase Briscoe, Ryan Blaney, and William Byron. You get 5 drivers who you start by the end of stage 2. You can only start a driver X amount of times this season. For the playoffs specifically, you can only start a driver up to 5 times. And then bonus points, 10 per each head-to-head matchup. Bell versus Larson, I took Bell today. Briscoe versus Elliott, I took Briscoe. Blaney over Wallace for me, and Logano over Chastain are my 4 picks for this weekend. And the league coming into this week, when we go to the playoff standing side of things, Monster Jam X10 currently leads the way, and he was a regular season champion already this year as well. He's got 683 points, 650 for P-Shat Motorsports in second. Sierra Red Corona was 650 in third, 620 for Inside Uranus and Fort Dark Crypto, 611 rounds out the top 5. I'm in ninth with 584. So thank you all to playing along in that league. And don't forget, end of stage 2, not only the chat poll closes, but your fantasy lineups will lock in as well. Also, at the end of stage 2, we'll do a diecast showing. And I did get 3 new diecasts when I was in Bristol last weekend, so I'll show one of those off during our stage 2 diecast showing. I was holding off in the truck race yesterday. I wanted to wait for the new ones for the cup races the next few weeks on the channel. So I'll show one of those off a little later on. Ryan Blaney during the commercial break has closed in immensely on the top 2 in the running order in front of him. He went from 3 seconds off the lead to quickly 1.1 seconds back of Logano. He's only a couple tenths off of Josh Berry. And then William Byron, who was about 4.5 seconds off the lead, also closed in a bit, but not as quickly as Blaney. He's 3 seconds back still in 4th. "28 laps to go in stage 1 this time by. Packers 3-0 at halftime. That's it. I was watching the first couple series of the game before we started the live stream at 1:30 today. My Packers are struggling. I always say it's tough to win on the road. Their defense is just so suffocating, though. The fact that they've held 2 great teams down and they're shutting out another team in week 3. Defense wins championships. And we haven't had much of a defense like we've had out of the gate this year in a very long time. So I'm excited as a fan of the Packers. I always say, though, it's not football season until racing season's done. We're still in the heat of racing season. Most important time of the year here is we're going to be crowning a champion over the next month and a half. Top 3 all under a blanket. Josh Berry overdrives the exit to turn 4, in fact. Lap car on the outside of Eric Jones on the 43 will allow for Ryan Blaney to get to the inside of the 21. He's going to have a flat entry getting into turns 1 and 2 with them still being 3 wide with the lap car high. But no problem for the driver, the number 12, Ryan Blaney, is up to second. Quickest car on the racetrack, bar none, is Ryan Blaney at this point. That long run speed showing in practice is finally showing off in the race. The only problem is if we have a late race caution, because he lost 6 positions on the initial start before he started to go forward. It's obviously panning out for him on the long run. But if we get into a situation where we have caution after caution after caution, he could be in danger of losing a lot of spots that could be too tough for him to come from behind So it's a bit risky with the strategy they have pulling off right now with the setup for him to be able to have that long run speed the way he drives the race car. But obviously with the short first stage, if he can go out here and win stage 1, that's a good start for him for this round of the playoffs. He's currently sitting plus 48 points above the cut line, running in second. And obviously if he's able to win the race today, he'll be locked into the next round with the automatic bid. Drivers, you picked that New Hampshire 11, 20, 19, 12, 22, 45, your garage pick. Yeah, put your guys' fantasy teams down in the chat below. I'd like to see that. Used to be able in the fantasy league to click somebody else randomly and see who they have on their team, which was always cool because at the end of the live commentary streams, I always go back through the fantasy league and see who won for the week. And it was cool to see who you guys put in your lineup, and I can't look at that anymore, so that's unfortunate. So yeah, if you're in the fantasy league down below, definitely be sure to put your team in there. Also, I would imagine we already hit the... Actually, you know what? I woke up this morning, and I'm pretty sure I did hit the number. But yesterday, as soon as the Cup practice, the qualifying stream got done, I think I was 3 subs shy of 6,600 on the channel. Yeah, we've already hit that. But definitely still hit the subscribe button. We're on the road to 7K. Hopefully we can get there by the end of the season. NASCAR 25 coming out here in a few weeks. We'll have a lot of NASCAR 25 content during the week. We'll finish up with the live commentary streams on the weekend still. And then, obviously, into the NASCAR off-season as well. We'll carry over more NASCAR 25 until Daytona in February. Well, really, the Clash in early February. And I'll also be doing the Rolex 24 again like I did last season as well. I'm really looking forward to that in January. All 24 hours live right here on KRC. That was good. We had a good turnout last year for that. That was a lot of fun. It was very tiresome, but it was a lot of fun. Lap traffic is still holding up Joey Logano as he struggles compared to his Penske teammate Ryan Blaney, trying to pick him behind the lapper of the 47 Chevrolet of Ricky Stenhouse Jr. Logano on the inside of him right now. Blaney going to have to wait a little bit longer to get by this 22 car, but he's definitely better than him. It's kind of reminded me of how some of that championship race went last year at Phoenix, where the 12 looked a little better than the 22 down the stretch, but he ran out of laps to try to get by him, and the 22 was able to win the championship. 12 has gotten by Barry almost 7-8 laps ago now. He's been within half a second of Logano. He's gotten close. Had Stenhouse not been where he was on the racetrack, I think Blaney could have gotten underneath him a lap ago. Closes in even tighter to Logano through the center of 3 and 4. Backs up the middle of the corner. Blaney wins the race back to the throttle. He's got a little bit of a run after Logano, but Logano's trying the outer line, so he's going to have the straight line exit speed to kind of mitigate whatever gains Blaney is making by just having the better race car. Now Blaney to the wider line through 1 and 2, and this is where I think Logano's going to get bit down the backstretch. Big run for Blaney. Logano moves wide to try to block the 12. The 12 has that momentum. Charges the entry again to the outer lane through 3 and 4. Running really wide, kind of similar to what we saw from Reddick in the early laps. If he can slip to the outside of the 22, it'll be an easier pass than the bottom, and I think that's what he's really been trying to do here. He's being patient with his teammate, trying to drive him with respect. There's still 19 laps to go yet in this opening stage, so time isn't necessarily of the essence yet. Now Blaney's underneath Logano, side by side down the backstretch. Quick side draft to the left rear corner panel. Blaney slings off. Still on the bottom, the 22 pinches him on entry. Logano gets the straightaway speed off the exit of the corner, and Blaney will see if he can hang on the front stretch. He does. Another side draft, and they're still door-to-door into turn 1. Blaney heavily into the braking zone, trying to outdrive the 22 on corner entry. He does so. He slides clear. No crossover attempt will be made by Logano. And now we'll see if Josh Berry can make the pass for second as he was starting to close in on the top 2. They were side by side for about a lap and a half or so. But Ryan Blaney did the lead for the first time today as we have our first lead change. After Joey Logano from the pole was able to lead the first 52 laps of the race. The problem is, the problem for Ryan Blaney is that he is not good on the short run, and we saw him lose 6 positions earlier after starting second before he was able to move back through the field over the course of about 40 laps or so. He obviously cannot afford to lose 6 positions with stage points on the line when we know we're only going to have a restart with a couple laps to go in that said stage. I don't know if there was any playoff drivers that tried to stay out to get stage points that were not running in the top 10. It doesn't look like it. It looks like the only driver who may have stayed out was Ryan Preece in the 60. We'll wait to see if that is accurate or not on our leaderboard. He could have also gotten the free pass. I'm not sure where he was running at the time of the caution. And quite a few drivers taking the wave around. Riley Herbst, Ty Dillon, Cole Custer, Ricky Stenhouse Jr., Jonathan Nemechek, Kyle Busch, Eric Jones, all taking the wave around because we are going to get a caution, obviously, in a couple laps, so they can get their lap back, catch another quick yellow, and then they can pit for their tires and fuel consumption during the stage yellow. Got just over 200 people in the chat. Greatly appreciate everybody tuning in here. Stage 1. Joey Logano leading the first 52 laps from the pole. Ryan Blaney taking the lead at lap 53. Caution coming out with 8 laps to go in the stage. And that caution was for Cody Ware going for a spin off the front bumper of Austin Dillon in lap traffic. So not a lot of damage on the 51 for Ware. He does continue in the race. Lost an extra lap because of the spin, so he is now 2 laps down. And couldn't take the wave around because he had to come in for fresh tires. But because he's the only car lap down, he'll get at least one of those 2 laps back at the end of the stage. Because everybody that was a lap down other than Ware all took the wave around. They're back in the lead lap. Okay, so Priest did not stay out. That tells me he got the free pass to get back on the lead lap, and that's why I was showing him on our leaderboard up in front for a second. So Ryan Blaney wins the race off pit road. He will be the leader on the restart. Then you'll have Josh Berry second, Joey Logano third, William Byron fourth, Carson Hocevar fifth, sixth for Shane Van Gisbergen, Kyle Larson seventh, Tyler Reddick eighth, Alex Bowman ninth, Michael McDowell 10th, Denny Hamlin 11th, Ross Chastain's in 12th. Obviously a lot of playoff drivers up there in the top 10 needing these stage points. 1 point per finishing order inside the top 10 at the end of stage 1 and stage 2. And a playoff point for the stage winner, which would carry over into the next round if that said driver is in the playoffs and makes it to the round of 8. Showing a replay of how wide the cars were fanning out on the initial start of the race. A lot of 3 wide racing. We might even see 4 wide by the end of the day. I would not be shocked. Could see it right here on the restart with the pay window open for these playoff drivers at the front of the pack. Awaiting the next restarts. Lights are out on the pace car. They'll be going green this time by, and I believe we'll have 2 laps to go. 1 to go, actually. It's going to be a 1-lap sprint for the stage win here at New Hampshire. All right. We shall see what's going to happen. Now, Blaney is a control car this time, where he was not on the initial start, so that could bail him out a little bit. He only has to hold on for 1 lap, but it's not going to be easy. No, he does not have that short run fire-off speed. Gets a great push from Logano, then launches in the restart zone. Green flag back in the air. That's going to get the 12th car clear into turn 1. Joey Logano on the outside for second with Josh Berry. 3 wide to the bottom goes Carson Hocevar for second, helping Blaney up out of turn 2 and down the backstretch. Logano clear for that spot. Byron trying to go for third up high. Larson trying to battle inside the top 5. Still 3 wide. Hocevar, Berry, and Byron for third. Hocevar up the track. Slight contact with the 21. Backing a couple other cars up out of the rear view. They will make it back to the green-white checkered flag. Ryan Blaney does hold on and win stage 1 here today at Loudon. Joey Logano second, William Byron third, Josh Berry fourth, and Carson Hocevar rounds out the top 5 in the first stage. 6th place for Kyle Larson after starting in 17th. Pretty impressive there. Started 16th, excuse me. His best lap was lap 17. Shane Van Gisbergen, 7th in the stage. Great start for him today. Alex Bowman in 8th, Tyler Reddick 9th, and Michael McDowell was hanging around the top 10 all the way through stage 1 as well. So 2 Spire cars having a great day through the first 70 laps. Second caution out for the stage end after a one-lap shootout to the end of the first stage. Stage 2 will be 115 laps in length. Stage 3, 116. So we will have pit stops at some point during the middle of the stages for fuel purposes. And I don't expect many drivers to pit here under this caution. Obviously, those that took the wave round will come in, but that should be about it. Maybe a couple others will top off on fuel just because they can at the tail end of the lead lap, but I don't expect any of the front runners to pit with this caution flag coming out. 123 votes now in the chat poll, and others still leading the way at 46% for who you think will win. And that would be other than Bell, Logano, or Blaney. Spent all Blaney and Logano so far. First and second all the way through that first stage. Only lead change was the 22 passing the 12 at lap 53. We'll take another break. You're listening live on KRC as our full flag-to-flag coverage continues of the Mobil 1 301 at New Hampshire. Up to 58 likes already. Let's go. All right. The corner. There's quite a bit of contact between the 54-20 and the 4. The 54 leans on the 20 middle of the front stretch, trying to give himself a little more room. To rub the Goodyear lettering off the right front of Bell's race car, and I wouldn't be surprised if the left side of Gregson's car is missing some Goodyear lettering, and both sides of Gibbs's car, because he bounced off the 4 of Gregson a couple times off the exit of the corners. And the couple laps that those three guys were all running 3 wide. Meanwhile, at the front of the pack, Ryan Blaney has opened up about a 9/10 of a second lead over Joey Logano. 1.3 seconds over Carson Hocevar in third, 2.1 seconds to William Byron in fourth, and 2.8 seconds over Kyle Larson in fifth. Alex Bowman 4 seconds off the lead in sixth, SVG 4.6 back in seventh, Tyler Reddick 4.8 back in eighth, Michael McDowell 5.7 back in ninth, and Noah Gragson rounds out the top 10, 6 seconds off the lead. That 4 car driven by Josh Berry last year finished in the top 5 here at New Hampshire. And Gregson started very, very deep in the field today. Gregson started 33rd, and he's already up inside the top 10. Great run by the driver of the number 4. He had a little contact trying to battle with Gibbs and Bell, the JGR Toyotas that were around him, but he did win the battle, and he is in front of both still. 3 wide now for Bubba Wallace to the inside of Ross Chastain and Brad Keselowski, who might have held each other up down the backstretch just a bit. A late dive after a great run down the backstretch for the 23. They'll merge up off the exit of the corner, and the 1 will dive in line back to the outside behind the 6. The 6 in the middle groove. Wallace charges the entry maybe a little too hard. Diamonds the corner off, trying to get the best corner exit he can. He does hang with Chastain a little longer. That's brought Chase Briscoe up into this 4-car battle right around 15th. 2 Fords lead 3 Chevrolets inside the top 5. Toyota has been struggling as a manufacturer so far today. The highest running for them is Reddick at 8th. He's the only one in the top 10. Hamlin, who restarted 9th, and Bell 10th, fell back now to 12th and 13th. It has not been a Joe Gibbs Racing performance today. All 4 of them outside the top 10 in Stage 1, and early in Stage 2, still outside the top 10. In fact, the highest running of them is Ty Gibbs in 11th, and he's not one of the 3 in the playoffs. But it's just insane how topsy-turvy this sport can be on a week-to-week basis. So you got a team that's dominated this racetrack 3 years in a row, that had dominated the first round of the playoffs all 3 races, struggling so mightily as an organization from top to bottom here today, the very next week. On a racetrack that's very similar to the one that they won just 2 weeks ago at Gateway. That's the thing that's baffling to me the most, personally. is how much Hendrick Motorsports struggled at Gateway, but they're here at New Hampshire and vice versa for JGR. And Penske, who didn't struggle at Gateway, but they didn't look as dominant as they did the couple years before that. And they're right back to original form again here today at New Hampshire. Bell Hamlin battling for position. Hamlin making the pass, but slides a little too far wide up out of turn 2. Bell with the crossover. This is a battle for 12th. Kyle Larson also making a pass on his teammate William Byron for 4th place recently. And Larson looking very quick as he did at Gateway a couple weeks ago. That is a bit of a norm. He led a lot. 31 laps complete in stage 2 out of 115. We're just over 100 laps complete out of 301 in the race entirely. Lap 102 currently. .1 second lead now for Blaney over Logano, and host of our 2.6 back is running faster lap times than that of Joey in the second spot. 3.4 seconds for Larson in fourth. It will be the top 5 in the running order. Intervals between themselves and our race leader. Blaney didn't fall back as much on the short run. Was able to win the opening stage with that 1-lap dash after winning the race off of pit road. And restarted from the lead and was able to stay out in front at the beginning of stage 2. And not just the beginning of stage 2, but the last restart as well. So they all cycled off on a little bit older tires. The SVG Josh Berry contact, which led to a Berry spin and the third caution of the day. 2 of them for incident, and then the stage break at lap 70. Again, lap 185 is where we're racing to for stage number 2. No weather will be at hand as far as rain goes. That could potentially shorten today's race, so we will get all 301 miles in. I don't know what just happened. They're showing a side-by-side commercial break, but there was a big stack up around Riley Herbst and Ricky Stenhouse Jr. I think that's Kyle Busch is on board as he ran into the back of somebody right in front of him. It's getting heated deep in the field. Yeah, it had to have been Busch. They're all battling around 29th. Berry up to 24th. Yeah, he's on the move. You got to think, too, he would have came down and taken fresh tires after that spin, so he probably had about 10 lap or so fresh tires compared to the rest of the field. Could be making track position up a lot quicker. I think Ryan Preece probably came to pit road, too, because he's also up 13 spots from the restart to 19th place. So, might as well. You're probably not going to use all the different sets of tires throughout the course of today's race unless it becomes another caution fest, but I don't think we'll see that. Even with the few cautions we had when we did, doesn't look like it's going to get out of control, at least to this point, stage 2. Not going to be the guy to say I told you so, but I had a feeling with the success Chase Briscoe had taking right side tires only, we would see a caution period in which a lot of drivers would come down and a lot would take 2 tires, and that's exactly what ended up happening. I didn't think we were going to see that many drivers take 2 tires. At least the top 10 spots took 2. Ryan Blaney, I saw, took 4. He was in 3rd. Now he's going to be, gosh, I don't even know. It's going to be well outside the top 10. Not that it was a slow stop or anything. It's just so many drivers took 2 tires. I'll have to wait to see how this cycles out, and then I'll go through the top portion of the leaderboard and tell you who's up at the front of the pack. Yeah, Blaney took 4. I don't like that. I mean, he's fast, but that's a lot of spots to lose. The good news is we're only halfway through the race, so he's got time. What's not good is to get stage points at stage 2, or a lot of them, where he was running in second. I doubt he's going to get that far before the end of the second stage because we only have about 35 laps to go. And that's another reason to take 2 as well, knowing you're guaranteed another caution in 30 to 35 laps. Briscoe was able to hold on for about 15 to 20 before that yellow. So what's another, by the time we go green, roughly 10 laps or so? Lefts will be able to hold on, theoretically speaking. Joey Logano will be the leader on the restart. Kyle Larson 2nd. William Byron 3rd. Michael McDowell 4th. Christopher Bell 5th. And Denny Hamlin up to 6th. Ryan Blaney, after being in second, is now 11th with 4 tires. So the top 10, I know for a fact, took 2 only. And then Blaney was the first off pit road with 4 tires. So he should get back in the top 10. I don't know that he's going to get to the lead, though. It took him 40 laps to get to the lead after falling to 7th with everybody on equal tires. I don't think the lefts are going to be, them being old is going to be too much of a disadvantage for the drivers in front of him. Probably get by the guys he was pacing faster than for most of the day anyway, which in my opinion would probably be at least up to 4th. But the top 3 are going to be tough to catch if they get out without major issues. 22, the 524 are going to be tough to beat here for stage 2 if you're a Blaney fan out there hoping he can get back through the field on fresher tires. All right. Logano, Larson, front row for the restart. Logano on the outside. Larson down low on the bottom. Green flag back in the air. 24 going to push the 22 as he tries to get into second place quickly. Logano clear before getting down into turn 1. Couple cars locking their brakes up in the middle groove of the racetrack. Larson clear for second still in the 24. I thought Byron was going to have more of a challenge for second place, but he did not. Single file, top 5 spots. Logano in the lead now. Larson second. Byron third. Bell fourth. And Denny Hamlin up to 5th. $31 to go in the stage. Gaggle cars, 3 wide, a few rows of them. Josh Berry. Great comeback after having a spin with contact from SVG, is up to 14th. Trying to press forward still. Free pass, by the way, went to Brad Keselowski with that last caution flag that came out for the John Nemechek crash. So Brad back on the lead lap. Michael McDowell contact with the back of Tyler Reddick in the outer groove of the racetrack. Chastain underneath the 45. Couldn't capitalize to clear Reddick despite the slight contact to 71. And 45 cars above him. And backed up Ryan Blaney was on the outside trap behind the 71 car. And what it did allow was for Zane Smith to get by the 12 as well. Denny Hamlin on the outside of Chase Elliott. Hamlin going backwards a couple spots after being up in 5th. Now he is in 8th as Elliott is clear. This is as high up in the running order as we've seen that 9 car all day today in 7th. All 4 Hendrick Chevys all of a sudden in the top 7. They all took right side tires only during the last stop. So from start to bottom, that team on the same strategy here. Oh my goodness. Last restart, Josh Berry and Ty Dillon had a ton of contact. Showing a replay of that on USA Network currently. How did Dillon not wash all the way into the outside? I mean, he looked like he was wrecked. 2/3 of the way down the backstretch. Great save. Happened so fast, it was kind of hard to tell exactly how that started. Other than the fact there were 3 wide, things got tight. As we've seen several times today. 6 cautions now, 5 lead changes, 34 laps of yellow with 159 of 301 complete. So top 10 with the intervals between themselves and the leaders now then has Joey Logano out in front by 0.8 of a second. Then Byron 1.6 seconds off the lead in 3rd. Michael McDowell 2 seconds back in 4th. Christopher Bell 3 seconds back in 5th. 3.9 back for Denny Hamlin in 6th. 7th is Alex Bowman, 4.8 off the lead. 5.5 back for Elliott in 8th. 9th, 6.2 back Tyler Reddick and Ross Chastain 7 seconds off the lead quickly. Not long into the restart, only about 6 or 7 laps currently. Ryan Blaney making a pass on Reddick. He's back in the top 10. Again, he's the first on 4 fresh tires, 1 from the 2nd starting spot. With the laps led on the short runs at stage 2, I do think Logano has led the most laps in the race to this point. 90... nope, that's not right. Got to find the category. 66, there we go. 66 laps led for Joey Logano, 61 for Blaney. 19 were led for Chase Briscoe before losing the lead to Larson for 4 laps. Larson currently in second. Ty Gibbs back in the garage again after having more damage to the rear of the race car following the second attempt of getting back out on the racetrack after the spin from Denny Hamlin. If we get a word from Ty Gibbs, you'll get to listen to that interview live right here on KRC. Stage 2 is winding down quickly. Oh, that's gross. Luckily, I haven't had any of that today. My allergies aren't making me cough up a storm like this COPD commercial that they're showing on the background on the race broadcast. Final stage of today's race about to begin. Had 7 cautions, most recent for this stage end. Just over 2 hours in. About another hour or so to go here this afternoon. And because we've reached the end of stage 2, I'm going to close out the chat poll. 50% of you saying somebody other than Joey Logano, Ryan Blaney, or Christopher Bell will get the win, all in the top 6 at the end of stage 2. 18% of the votes going to Blaney, 23% for Logano, 9% for Bell, but 50% of you say somebody other than those 3 will win again. So we'll see. We will see. I did not put William Byron into my starting 5. Gosh darn it. I just realized that. Forgot to check my fantasy team again late. I'm pretty sure he was in my garage. I remind you guys of this throughout these live commentary streams every week, and then sometimes I forget myself. To be fair, last week at Bristol, I had no service at the racetrack, so I could not get to my fantasy lineup during the race. Yeah, I definitely would have had Byron in there for Hamlin. Hamlin hasn't had as great of a day. That's tough. That's tough. Unless he gets in a wreck late, then I'll get lucky and he won't actually score a lot. But Byron's a legit threat to win this race under the right circumstance. The favorites to win are still the 22 and the 12, but the 5 and the 24, they're like that second tier right there behind them. Which is basically about how the Championship 4 was last year at Phoenix. And this is a similar racetrack to that. And here we are again with those guys being the top 4 and the ones to beat here today. Joanne Ellis, thanks for tuning in. Stu, I haven't shouted you out yet today. Edward Manning, greetings from Kansas. Steve, Frederico Sanchez, many others that have been watching all stream long. Thanks for tuning in. We'll take a quick break as stage 3 going to be beginning here shortly at New Hampshire. See if the raw feed's working again. Probably not. Let me try to back out of NASCAR.com completely and then go back in. Let's see here. The raw feed just shows a little bit more of a stat line that I like that more, but I don't have it available. Yeah, Ryan Blaney lost 3 positions on pit road. Austin Cindric going to be restarting in second after taking right side tires. Only Joey Logano won the race off pit road, continues on with the lead. We haven't seen the 2 car of the Penske Fords up at the front all day long until now. No stage points at all today for Cindric, so dire need of a good finish. And this is a very gutsy call, but we'll see if it works out for him, and we'll see if he's got the speed that his teammates that have been up towards the front most of the day. See if he has anything close to them. Cindric was well off in practice compared to the 22, the 21, and the 12 yesterday. Remember, he is one of the 12 playoff drivers remaining this season. Pace car will be pulling a pit road this time by. We'll get to the restart at lap 193. That will be 108 laps to go at the Magic Mile. Still can't believe my Packers lost to the Browns. What the hell? How does that happen? Debbie Hyde, welcome to the stream. It's because I couldn't watch the game. That's why it happened. I almost went to that game, and I'm like, no, I can't do that. I got to stream the race. That wouldn't feel right. Because I live only like an hour and a half from Cleveland. I'm glad I didn't go. That would have been miserable. I value NASCAR over my football. Here we are. Green flag back in the air. Multiple rows of 4 wide racing in the middle of the pack through turns 1 and 2. Getting very tight middle of the back straightaways. They try to funnel into turn 3. Joey Logano easily at the front of the field was able to get to the lead on the restart. Hocevar and Alex Bowman making a little bit of contact in the outer groove with the 4 wide battle. Still 77 kind of leaning on the 48 a bit. Up the middle 3 wide with Ryan Preece in the 60 underneath them still. They've been fanning out wide on the restarts all day today for a couple laps before they were able to get kind of filed back down into somewhat of an organized situation. Cindric, who restarted inside of row 1 in second, is now back to 4th. Larson, Elliott are door-to-door up high as Elliott tried to slip to the outside of Larson. Big block by the 5 up off the exit of the corner. Elliott will push him down the front stretch and keep him going. Ryan Blaney trapped in line behind the 11 and 20. Been pretty normal for him to lose a couple spots on the restarts all day. Lost a couple on pit row. When I was at Bristol last week, that 12 team lost at least a couple positions on nearly every pit stop the entire race. So this pit crew has not been performing well in the playoffs. Good enough for Blaney that he has had a lot of speed and they weren't in any danger of missing. They actually locked themselves in on points before the final stage even started last weekend during the course of the elimination race at Bristol. And then this week, obviously a good start so far, finishing 1st and 4th in the first 2 stages. He's comfortable above the cut line as long as he doesn't get in an incident, but in order to try to win the race, Picker's going to have to be more consistent. And, at the very least, even if you're not gaining positions, just don't lose any, especially consistently. Biggest movers from the very start of the race. Chase Elliott up 23 spots after qualifying 27th. He's up to 4th. It's the first time he's cracked the top 5 all day today. Cindric, who restarted second, now back to 7th, and he is maybe going to settle in now. Chastain and Bell behind him are side by side for 8th, but Cindric just doesn't look like he's got any kind of speed that the guys around him have. Josh Berry still holding on to 10th. Good comeback after the early spin in stage 2. All the cautions that came out in the second stage lengthened the race out a little bit, but again, we are in stage 3 now, a little over 100 laps to go. Denny Hamlin, Ryan Blaney now in a battle for 5th. Blaney on the inside, Hamlin up high into turns 3 and 4. Haven't seen many JGR cars in the top 5 today. Hamlin has been good on pit road. His picker gains him a few spots almost every time, but just doesn't have the speed to compete. He's a borderline top 10 car, and that's pretty much been every JGR car throughout the course of the race today. Blaney quickly going after Elliott now for 4th. Got through Hamlin in 3 and 4 the last lap. This lap off turn 2 inside of Elliott, and will make the pass at 3 and 4. So 2 consecutive laps on that end of the racetrack. Blaney moves up 2 spots. He's about a second and a half off the lead still from his teammate Joey Logano, but he's much closer to the 22, 24, and 5 now than what he was by the time he got to 4th late in stage 2. Didn't have to restart as far back. Lap 200. 201 now. 115 laps led for Logano. That fastest lap of the race Josh Berry has. With the screen we currently have, I can't actually check his fastest lap. That fastest speed on that sub lap was 126.731 miles per hour. Our usual raw feed hasn't been working, so I've got an altered leaderboard that we've been able to look off of for about the last 30 to 40 laps. And it's got a Sunoco ad right in the middle of it, which I don't like, but we're going to have to deal with it. Hamlin gets by Elliott up off a turn 4, clear for 5th. First time Elliott was in the top 5, did not last long. He doesn't have the pace the 5 and the 24 have had today. It looked like early on he had decent pace because he started so far back in the field, made his way up. I don't think he's got a top 5 car. I think he could settle in the back half of the top 10, though, which is a better performance than where it was when he started the day, and especially not getting any stage points in stage 1 and minimal in stage 2. To salvage a top 10 day is a decent one at that. You click away performances like that in the round of 12, you can get out. Now, in the round of 8, you're going to have to kind of consistently finish top 5, if not win, to get into the next round. But worry about that when you get there if you're Elliott, taking 3 races at a time. Speaking of 3 races at a time, Chase Briscoe, best average finish in the 3 races of the round of 16 of any driver. And then we go into this race, and yeah, he led laps on strategy with the 2 tires earlier. He led 19 of them, but he didn't score a lot of stage points. He's been outside the top 10 most of the day, and he's currently 13th. And because he came in plus 10 above the cut line, where he's running, the lack of stage points, I think he is below the cutoff line as we run. A tale of 2 rounds this could be if Briscoe doesn't get it going. Go to Kansas Speedway next week, and he's been great on the road courses this year. I think he can score a lot of points at the Roval. So I'm not worried about it, but it's a pressure-packed situation, to say the least, going forward for him. Blaney with a quick pass in 3 and 4 on Larson. It seems like the passing corner has been 3 and 4 for Blaney. The setup corner in 1 and 2. He's just good all the way around the racetrack. The longer this run goes, the more likely he's going to be to drive up back to the front of the field. If you're a Blaney fan, you want this final stage to go caution-free. That's going to be his best shot of winning because he's got such a good long-run car, but in the event that we catch a caution, there's a chance for his pit crew to lose more spots. There's a chance for him to just fall back too far and restart, not have enough laps to get back going in the right direction again. So for those accumulating factors, it's probably better it just stays green. Or if we catch any cautions, as I'm a fellow Ryan Blaney fan, you're hoping that it comes and we have at least like 40-plus laps left in the race to give him some sort of time to try to get back to the front. But even in 40 laps, he's going to have to be around the top 5. Because we saw him restart 11th, and in about 35 laps, he only got back up to 4th. Yeah, I think he manages his tires so early in the run. They could set himself up for a short run to be a little bit better. They haven't done that since the end of stage 1. And they only did that because it was a 1-lap dash. So in the event of a late caution, as long as he doesn't lose spots on pit road, I do think they'll set the air pressure up a little better for him so he can have better short-run speed than long-run speed. But if he's not in the lead, I still don't think he can get back there. It just takes him laps to get going. But you're right. I mean, he's definitely got the car to beat. His teammate is the one out in front and has actually led the most laps so far, splitting the stage wins with Ryan Blaney. Blaney going for a pass on Byron. Very close to making that pass in 3 and 4. Probably try to set him up here in 1 and 2. Get alongside of him off the exit of the corner, pass in 3 and 4. He looks low. Underneath Byron, center of the corner. He just rounds that bottom so well, and he is side by side down the backstretch. Headed for turn 3. And Blaney will make it with ease. So Logano leads. He's a 2.5 ahead of the 12 of Ryan Blaney. 2.1 seconds to William Byron in 3rd, and Larson 2.7 seconds back at 4th. Denny Hamlin rounds out the top 5 in 5th. 6 is Chase Elliott. Josh Berry up to 7th. Ross Chastain 8th. Austin Cindric 9th. And Christopher Bell rounds out the top 10. 11th is Carson Hocevar. Alex Bowman 12th. Chase Briscoe 13th. 14th for Michael McDowell. 15th Ryan Preece. AJ Allmendinger, 16th. Tyler Reddick, 17th. Chris Buescher, 18th. Noah Gragson, 19th. And Austin Dillon, 20th. Saint Smith, 21st. Ty Gillen, 22nd. Bubba Walls, 23rd. Cole Custer, 24th. And Riley Herbst, 25th. 26th for Brad Keselowski. Ricky Stenhouse Jr., 27th. Eric Jones, 28th. Ty Dillon, 29th. And Cody Ware, 30th. Kyle Busch, 31st, a lap down. And then off the racetrack and out of the race for everybody else, 32nd SVG. Jonathan Nemechek, 33rd. Ty Gibbs, 34th. Justin Haley, 35th, and Daniel Suarez, 36th. We'll take a break. You're listening live on KRC. Live commentary coverage continues of the Mobil 1 301 at New Hampshire. "90 laps to go still in this race. So Josh Berry is about 0.3 of a second faster a lap than our race leader Ryan Blaney right now, and he's got about 9 lap fresher tires on him. Joey Logano has about 6 lap fresher tires than the leader Ryan Blaney. He's 3.6 seconds back. Josh Berry about 6.6 seconds back, but Berry is closing fast. And it's obviously going to be dependent on lap traffic too. Berry ran a 30.0 a couple laps ago to Blaney running a 34, but Blaney had a lot more traffic in front of him, so consistently faster lap, probably going to be buried to the end of the race. He's got to get through lap traffic cleanly. Same for the 12. Can't get hung up behind those guys too much. Blaney was the first car onto pit road, so I feel like his way of getting through lap traffic might be a little bit tougher than that of the 21. We shall see, but I think it's going to be between Blaney and Berry if this stays green to the end of the race for these final 53 laps that are left. I think Berry's going to have the pace to get by Logano. I don't think Logano is going to have enough in his car compared to Blaney plus the tires to overcome him. And again, that's all if this stays green to the end. Haven't had a caution in stage 3 up to this point. 71 laps led in the race. For the driver of the number 12, if he were to lead from now to the finish, it would still be Joey Logano to lead the most laps. So Logano's clinched the most laps led. He's at 147 currently. Blaney actually fell back to 7th on that restart, remember, so he gained 6 positions to get to the lead, and then a handful of laps after taking the lead from Logano, he was the first into the pits. Commercial break on USA Network. We'll go through the full field running order here. Ryan Blaney leads. Joey Logano 2nd. Josh Berry 3rd. William Byron in 4th. Kyle Larson 5th. And Denny Hamlin 6th. Christopher Bell 7th. Carson Hocevar 8th. Ross Chastain 9th. And Chase Briscoe rounds out the top 10. 11th for Chase Elliott. Alex Bowman 12th. Michael McDowell 13th. Austin Cindric 14th. And Ryan Preece 15th. Austin Dillon 16th. Tyler Reddick 17th. Noah Gragson 18th. Chris Buescher 19th. And Todd Gilliland 20th. AJ Allmendinger, 21st. Riley Herbst, 22nd. Cole Custer, 23rd. Brad Keselowski, 24th. And Eric Jones, 25th. 26th, Bubba Wallace. Ricky Stenhouse Jr., 27th. Zane Smith, 28th. Ty Dillon, 29th. And Cody Ware, 30th. Kyle Busch, 31st. Shane Van Gisbergen, 32nd. Justin Haley, 33rd. Jonathan Nemechek, 34th. Ty Gibbs, 35th. And Daniel Suarez rounds out the 36-car field. 5 drivers out of the race today due to crashes. A lot of cautions at stage 2, which is why we're at 7. 2 of them not for incident, which were the lap 70, lap 185 stage ends. 12 lead changes, 40 laps spent under caution today. And again, we have a little less than 50 laps to go now, 48 to be exact, at New Hampshire. Ryan Blaney leads, 3.1 seconds over Logano, 5.1 seconds over Josh Berry at 3rd. William Byron 9.4 seconds back at 4th. And Kyle Larson in 5th is 10.4 seconds off of the race lead. A lot of racing still to go yet. Got a side-by-side commercial break currently ongoing on USA Network. Oh, we've got a car on the wall. Cody Ware has crashed again. Second time today, Cody Ware has brought out a spin. He had the first caution, and now he has the 8th caution. Oh, boy. This is interesting. A lot of damage, by the way, to the nose of that 51 car. He's probably going to be done for the day.
The track ready to go.
All right, 42 laps to go. Green flag back in the air. Good restart for Josh Berry. Chase Elliott on that inside line can't take off as well. We've seen that all weekend, the truck race and then this race as well. Inside row 1 just doesn't launch very well. Carson Hocevar going way up the racetrack. Carson Hocevar's been taking advantage of that wide line every restart today, picking up a couple more positions there in the back half of the top 10. Front of the field, Ryan Blaney was able to get back into second, getting by Elliott quickly. And now trying to take advantage with the fresher right side tires of that of Josh Berry, who leads. It is an absolute mess off of turn 4. 3 by 3 by 3. We're not even going to begin to talk about who's all in that mess. Several playoff drivers, I can tell you that much. Blaney already putting pressure to the back of Josh Berry with the 12-lap pressure right side tires. Berry with a wider line through 3 and 4. Blaney down on the bottom. If Berry is slow enough that holds up Blaney for long enough period of time, can Byron have a chance to close the gap from third? Elliott's settled in fourth right in front of Joey Logano right now. Logano's had a great car all day long, short and long run today as well. Blaney wrapping the white line on the bottom of the racetrack, right around the apron, the painted line, if you will, through 1 and 2. Getting some clean air in the nose. You can tell the 21's driving hard, and you can really tell the 12 is working hard to try to find a way to get by the 21. I really think Berry should have pitted there. I mean, it's tough because if more drivers would have stayed out, I think it was going to be better for Berry. But the fact that only Chase Elliott was the only other car that stayed out, I think really hurt him. Blaney to the lead as he gets by Berry through turns 1 and 2. 39 laps to go. That'll be the 14th lead change of the day. And is this the final restart after we just had our longest green flag run to this point? Longest green flag run of the race earlier was the first 62 laps going green to start the day, and then from 108 to go until just about 49 to go, 48 to go, so roughly another 60 laps, really. So I guess out of technicality, the longest green flag run was still the first run. I don't think we quite got to 62 laps on that last green flag run. But the only reason we didn't see pit stops earlier is because the first stage would have been 70 laps, so no need to pit under green versus this final stage. They were never going to make it on fuel. And luckily enough, for when the caution did come out for the drivers who pitted earlier, like a Ryan Blaney, that the caution did come out during the green flag pit stops and trapped him a lap down. Logano Elliott door-to-door for fourth. Logano up the inside, and Elliott trying to hold strong up high. Looking to make the pass. Elliott rounding around the top. Joey couldn't beat him clear off the exit of the corner. More straightaway speed for Elliott. Logano has the shorter route through 1 and 2. Trying to diamond the corner as much as he can in that bottom lane and a half or so, and still side by side are those two cars. Had quite a few drivers that went a lap down with that green flag run, as we currently only have 24 cars on the lead lap. Bubba Wallace, playoff driver in 2050, who struggled today, is the first car 1 lap down if we were to see a caution. Logano and Elliott are still side by side. Joey falling off that 9 car just a bit. Other than Josh Berry in the second place position, everybody in the top 7 and 7 of the top 10, if you go back to the 9th place car of Christopher Bell, are all in the playoffs. So if one of those drivers are to win, obviously they would be locked into the round of 8. With Kansas and the Roval at Charlotte still to continue for this round. Logano, after failing to make the pass on Chase Elliott, might try to go for it again here shortly.
Runs up the racetrack. Watch what that allows him to do on corner exit.
We got a good battle.
Carry speed onto the straight.
We've got a great battle in store here for 22 more laps. And if they do get the side-by-side racing, we know how quick that 22 car of Joey Logano is. That if he can get by William Byron, maybe he's got something for the 12. Sorry, I was texting someone. Letting them know I'm still streaming. All right, there we go. 21 laps to go. But anyway, what I was going to say there, Joey Logano, if he's able to get by William Byron quickly for 30s within about a half a second of him, the 21 and the 12 get to battling with one another, maybe use their stuff up. I do think the 22's got some speed. So 20 to go this time by. Blaney, Barry, very tight to one another. Barry has closed that gap. He was 7/8 of a second off the lead about 5 laps ago or so, and he closed very quickly within a couple of car lengths. Barry with a win earlier in the season at Las Vegas, 3 straight last place finishes. I mean, what a feel-good story it would be. As a Blaney fan, if he were to lose to anybody here, it would be awesome if he lost to Josh Berry. It's always cool to see the Wood brothers win, for one. For two, the fact that Berry's had just such a rough stretch here. And there was so much promise for him because if you remember back, he qualified in the top 5 in the Southern 500, but he didn't even make it out of the first lap. You know, faults of his own, maybe pushing a little too hard too early. And then mechanical issues have done him in for the last 2 DNFs early in the race. I mean, his car caught fire last week at Bristol. That's nothing of Berry's own fault in that race. After having a decent run up and to that point. But all that is in the rearview mirror. And what's in the windshield is the driver, the number 12, as he tries to get the job done for the second time this season and get a race win. He finished in the top 5 at New Hampshire last season, so you would have to think that Berry could have been a quietly good performer today. I don't think we were going to see this kind of speed out of him, but that top 5 came with Stewart-Haas Racing at the end of their days, their dying days, if you will, a season ago. Much more competitive equipment here with the Wood brothers, and even still, it's not that A-tier team. I mean, people consider it a 4th Penske car, but they're 25th in points, and Harrison Burton the last couple of years was pretty far back in the point standings. Obviously, he's not 25th anymore because he won a race, he made the playoffs, but the regular season standings, he was outside the top 20 the back half of the year. They just did not show the consistency throughout the course of the season that they had from speed right out of the gate. They fell behind quite a bit, but here they are. They found something yet again on a random race weekend in Loudon, New Hampshire, and there's a shot for Josh Berry. $15 to go this time by. So this is the tough part because Ryan Blaney obviously has been very good all day. So to beat the best, or to be the best, you have to beat the best, and that's basically what Josh Berry is having to do right now. I mean, he's got as good of a car as Ryan Blaney, if not a little bit better, but is he better enough at this point? And can he not make any mistakes by overdriving the race car to get the job done? He's picking a slightly different line to that of Ryan Blaney, that he is trying to get some clean air on the nose. Problem is, Blaney's taking the outer line away, which we've seen from everybody in some sort of a defensive position. When someone has gotten close to their back bumper to try to make a pass. Barry seems like he's a little further back now as they cross the start-finish line is where he was a couple laps before that. He was gaining ground when he was able to run that middle to upper groove. As he's moved to the bottom, the closer he gets behind the 12. He just can't round the inside of the racetrack and pinch off the corners in the back half of the turn compared to what he was able to when rolling the top. Logano, by the way, still in 4th, and he's actually losing time to Byron. Byron's matching lap times of the leaders. That last lap, Berry ran a 30.738 to Blaney's 30.801 and a 30.809 for Byron back in 3rd. So he's about the speed of the 12 car right now. I was talking about Logano maybe catching up if these two could get side by side for a bit, but now it's looking like maybe it's the 24. In-house teammate, knowing what's on the line here, I would assume that this is going to be a relatively clean race down the stretch, but Josh Berry wants to win a race. It took him a long time to get into the NASCAR ranks and obviously into the NASCAR Cup Series rookie season a year ago, despite the fact that he is above the age of 30. We don't know how many competitive years Josh Berry is going to have in the NASCAR Cup ranks. Big mistake getting down into turn 3. I think the bump costed him. As he overdrove the entry to the corner, he had a big wiggle, slipped up the racetrack. Blaney's opened up the lead over a half a second again. 6/10 back at the line as they cross the last time by. Charged just a little too hard on the entry, slipped the left side tires, left rear in particular, it looked like, and Barry goes up the racetrack. And he could have lost more time, he could have wrecked. Still in it, but those are the mistakes that you can't make if you're Josh Berry, because passing is going to be hard enough, and making it harder when you have to come back from more and more of a deficit. How much did he slide the tires is another question. Did he hurt them immensely enough that Blaney is not going to have any more pressure the rest of the race? Or not? Ross Chastain has caught up to Kyle Larson on screen. That battle is for 7th. And then Denny Hamlin, Chase Briscoe also battling for 11th on the racetrack. Ten laps to go, 9 to go now at the line. Battle between Chastain and Larson actually a little closer than Berry and Blaney all of a sudden. After Berry ended up slipping the rear tires 3 consecutive laps, Ryan Blaney has had a faster lap time than Josh Berry. And that one mistake might have costed him. I mean, as long as he doesn't crash or do anything stupid, he's got at least 2nd locked up. I don't think Byron's catching up to these two as they run single file. He's just matching lap times. He's not really running quicker, or at least substantially quicker with the limited amount of laps left that he can actually close in. Heavy pressure from Ryan Blaney. Blaney did not crack. Berry did. And Blaney has now opened up about a 1-second lead. 7 laps to go this time by. Ryan Blaney has never won at New Hampshire. He's won on a lot of shorter, flatter ovals. Martinsville a couple times. I guess he didn't technically win at Phoenix for a race win, but he got a championship there a couple years ago, and now looking for a race win. Going for a 2nd title, trying to keep the Penske hopes of winning 4 consecutive titles, all in the first 4 years with this next-gen car, alive. And a round of 8 berth, obviously, would be with that, with a Ryan Blaney win. Be the 16th career win, and he also needs this race to stay green, by the way. I haven't mentioned, obviously, about that. Not only he's trying to keep Berry in his rearview mirror, but if he doesn't get to the white flag before a caution comes out, we're going to have at least a 2-lap dash to the checker, and he has not been good on the short run. And it would leave the option of to pit or not to pit to be a very interesting one. Because we last restarted with 42 laps to go. So we've got just over 35 laps on these tires right now. So we have 5 laps left. 7/10 of a second lead. And Berry lost time again. 2 laps in a row, he was about a 10th quicker. In that last lap, he slipped the wheel a little too much again at 3 and 4, and he was over a 10th slower. 1 second off the race lead at the line the last time by. 31.0 to Blaney's 39. Byron's still running 39, same for Logano. Back in 3rd and 4th. 3 laps left at the Magic Mile for Ryan Blaney. Briscoe trying to get a top 10. He catch up. Yeah, he did get to 10. Carson Hocevar's actually slipped back a bit. He was in 9th. And Chastain actually slipped back too. He was catching up to Kyle Larson, and now Michael McDowell's passed him for 8th. So a couple of passes just inside the top 10 in the later laps. Lap 300 of 301 at the line for Blaney. Headed for turns 3 and 4. White flag is going to be in the air. 1 lap to go for the driver, the number 12. Barry's still a good 7-8 car lengths off the lead. No mistakes under pressure for Ryan Blaney this week. Looked like the quickest yesterday, and he is going to be the best here today. Through 3 and 4 for the final time. Checkered flag waving on the other side. Ryan Blaney will get his 16th career NASCAR Cup Series victory, his third of the 2025 season, and lock himself into the round of 8 of the NASCAR Cup Series playoffs. Congratulations to Blaney, second for Josh Berry, William Byron third, Joey Logano fourth, and Chase Elliott will round out the top 5 in 5th. Christopher Bell 6th, Kyle Larson 7th, Michael McDowell 8th, Ross Chastain 9th, and Chase Briscoe 10th. Carson Hocevar 11th, Denny Hamlin 12th, Austin Dillon 13th, Ryan Preece 14th, and Ryan Preece 15th. I said Ryan Preece twice. Alex Bowman in 15th, Preece was 14th. 16th for Noah Gragson, Austin Cindric 17th, Chris Buescher 18th, Todd Gillen 19th, and 20th for AJ Allmendinger. Tyler Reddick 21st. 22nd for Riley Herbst, Brad Keselowski 23rd, Cole Custer 24th, Ricky Stenhouse Jr. 25th, Bubba Wallace 26th. Not a good day for 23-11. Both cars outside the top 20. Well, 3 if you include Herbst. And 22nd as well. Zane Smith 27th, Eric Jones 28th, Ty Dillon 29th, and Kyle Busch in 30th. Cody Ware 31st, Shane Van Gisbergen in 32nd, Justin Haley 33rd, Jonathan Nemechek 34th, Ty Gibbs 35th. Daniel Suarez rounds out the 36-car field. 4 DNFs today. SVG finished but 51 laps down. Cody Ware, even after the second crash, was still on track, finished 5 laps down. Busch with damage 4 laps down, finished there. 24 cars ended up on the lead lap. Ryan Blaney leads 116 laps today en route to his win. Most laps led was Joey Logano with 147, who got the Stage 2 win. Blaney won Stage 1 and the race, so 6 more playoff points for Blaney, carrying over into the next round with him. 11 drivers will be going for those final 7 spots over the next 2 races at Kansas and the Charlotte Roval. 9/10 of a second margin of victory. Barry led for 10 laps today. Other drivers to lead. Chase Elliott with 3 laps led. Kyle Larson with 4. Chase Briscoe with 19. 2 for Cody Ware, which I believe were during caution at some point because I don't know how he would have led. And those are all the drivers who led in today's race. 14 lead changes, 8 cautions, only 1 in Stage 3. For incident, we ended up having 4 in Stage 2, 1 in Stage 1, and then the 2 stage breaks were the 8 cautions. 45 laps spent under yellow out of the 301 as we finish under the regulation length today of 301 laps, 301 miles at the Magic Mile at New Hampshire. 3 hours, 7 minutes, 53 seconds total time on today's race. Here's your race winner on the front stretch at New Hampshire Motor Speedway, Ryan Blaney.
In the Northeast, and he's on to the round of 8.
Awesome.
He was pushed hard, too.
Awesome stuff there. My guy, Ryan Blaney, getting the win. 3rd of the season. Not as dramatic as the Daytona race down the stretch a few weeks ago, but 2 wins in the last 5 races for Ryan Blaney. He's been the hottest driver, really, in the Cup Series when it comes to consistent finishes up until the round of 16, and then JGR came out of nowhere, and here he is, Ryan Blaney again with another solid day. And he had some solid finishes in the last round as well, but take it over for New Hampshire. 6 races to go for the NASCAR Cup Series. We'll go over the Fantasy League here first, and then after the Fantasy League, we will check out the point standings. Once they show up on USA Network, I'll read those off to you. Points going into next week. And the start times for next week's live commentary streams. So let me pull up a different tab for NASCAR.com. Actually had one open, but I accidentally closed it. You can join our Fantasy League on the NASCAR.com website, NASCAR mobile app. 2 tickets to any NASCAR race if you're choosing if you win our regular season and or playoff championship. Obviously, again, not going to be able to win the title. And we are almost at 100 likes, so yes, definitely hit the like button. We had over 250 concurrently watching for most of this race today. Thank you so much for tuning in, but we're only 4 likes away from our goal of 100, so be sure to hit that like button. Anyway, fantasy team, I had Logano, Hamlin, Bell, Briscoe, and Blaney. I wanted to get Byron in there. I just lackadaisically did not. put him into my starting 5. I would have had him in there for Hamlin because then he just didn't have as good of a day as I would have thought. And he obviously was the least of the point scorers on the team. Decent finish, but not great. Head-to-head matchups, I had Bell over Larson. That worked. Blaney won the race, so he obviously better than Bubba. Logano over Chastain. I'll take the 30 points there on the Fantasy League. And as far as who won this weekend in the Fantasy League, for New Hampshire, Carm60 with 100. Oh, sorry, I was reading the wrong category. Carm60 wins with 254 points this weekend at New Hampshire. Troy the Great second with 243, 238 for Blade 29 WM. So third place for him. The Plow V3, 233 at fourth. And myself, tied for fifth with Hercules Harrigan at 232. Point standings going into next weekend. Ryan Blaney obviously locked into the round of 8 with a win today. William Byron will be plus 47 above the cut line in second. Third in the points will be Kyle Larson plus 41. Plus 29 to Christopher Bell. Plus 27 for Denny Hamlin. Plus 24 for Joey Logano, who came in minus the cut line entering the day. So great points performance for Joey, a stage win. He ended up having a top 5 in another stage and finished top 5 in the race. Chase Elliott did not get a lot of stage points today, but he did finish top 5 in the race. Therefore, he was able to put himself 14 points above the cut line. He came in plus 5, so he did get something there. Chase Briscoe came in plus 10, gains 2. He's plus 12, but he is now the last driver above the cut line, so he did move down in the standings a bit despite gaining points on the cut line. Ross Chastain minus 12. He had a good day today, but lost points because although he had a decent finish, he did not score really any stage points all day. Minus 13 points, if I'm seeing that correctly. No, minus 19, sorry, for Austin Cindric. Plus 23 for Tyler Reddick and Bubba Wallace, plus 27. Those 2311 Toyotas, they just had an abysmal day today. 21st and 26th for both of them. They were off. At least Reddick got some stage points early, so that's why he's ahead of Wallace by just a couple. Wallace came in, I believe, plus 1 above the cut line. Reddick was minus 3. And they are now 11th and 12th in points going into Kansas next week, which both drivers, I believe, have won at Reddick has not won at Kansas, but Bubba Wallace has, and Reddick has had good runs there since moving to Toyota. It's kind of a Toyota stomping ground, if you will. Trying to catch up on the broadcast because there's some interviews to get through. Dylan Welch was with Josh Berry moments ago. All right, I'll try to catch. I fell behind on the broadcast, so I had to pause it for the points for a quick second. So I'm going to catch back up again and see if there was another interview in there I might have missed. If so, you'll get to listen in. Nothing yet. Wait to see if get an interview with anybody else. Denny Hamlin, Joe Gibbs having a conversation. That'll be something. Denny Hamlin's podcast is definitely going to be something to look forward to. Again, probably within the next 24 hours. They'll be uploading. CW, thanks for tuning in here late. Point for Josh Berry, but glad Blaney got the W. Yeah, it would have been a feel-good story for Berry, trust me. As a Blaney fan, if it wasn't my guy out in front, I would have been pulling for Berry too. Obviously, when calling these races, I call them down the middle, but deep down, as you see, got to represent. It's the reason why I wear Blaney gear every cup race. So, all right. Anyway, we went over about everything I needed to. The points, finishing order, fantasy, and interviews with the top 3. Ryan Blaney, Josh Berry, and William Byron. If we get any more interviews before I go off the air, you can listen into that. Start times for next weekend. Truck Series will be off next week, so still 3 live commentary streams, but Xfinity Series is back. With being at Bristol last week for that race and Xfinity being off this week, it's been a couple weeks since the last live commentary stream there for Xfinity Series, but we are back in full swing again next weekend. My phone is acting up right now. I'm trying to get the app back up and running. Start times. Next live commentary stream will be at 1 p.m. Eastern Saturday afternoon next week for Cup Series practice and qualifying. And then at 4 p.m. Eastern will be the NASCAR Xfinity Series race, 200 laps, 300 miles. So, again, Cup practice and qualifying next Saturday afternoon at 1 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Eastern for the NASCAR Xfinity Series race. NASCAR Cup racing will be on the channel here, 2:30 p.m. Eastern next Sunday. And we'll try to redo that Sporkle trivia quiz at the beginning of the stream that we tried earlier today with the NASCAR Cup Series all-time race winners. Ran out of time with them kind of pushing the start time of the race up, so I'll try to be a little earlier on that next weekend so we can make sure we actually finish the quiz next time. Thank you all so much for watching. We are so close to 100 likes on the stream. Be sure to hit the like button if you haven't done so yet. We're only 2 away. And subscribe for more NASCAR content if you haven't yet. Over the amount of views today for the stream than what we have subscribers on the channel. So greatly appreciate you guys tuning in every weekend for these live commentary streams. Be sure to hit the subscribe button. It really helps me out a ton. Thanks again to the $20 super chat also for John Barber. I know I mentioned that obviously when he dropped that early in the race, but greatly appreciate that as well. See you guys next Saturday and Sunday. I'll have some NASCAR 8 content on the channel throughout the course of the week. Kind of gearing up for NASCAR 25. Got to finish up some seasons there. And again, thanks so much. That's all I've got for today. Congratulations to Ryan Blaney getting the win in the Mobil 1 301 at New Hampshire. Catch you next week, everyone. If I don't catch you during the week.